You're gonna.
Okay. Let's start our class today for the web programming. Today we will go back to more about the programming language using the Node.js AES6. How can you handle? But I believe if you maybe start to working. Suppose you should be working on your project, like try to implement like all the pages, or like even you're working your Happy JS the server, or how to connect with your MongoDB, like maybe working on the planning. So you know why now in JS we do have some event. If you pay attention for the we add source code, we do have some event. So they are the action, the occurrence they happen in the browser. So we can try to detect it and respond to those events using our code. Okay, so those events can be triggered by your interaction. So those like through the cake or the key press or the browser itself. Like if you loading the page, then what are those the types of the events will be included for the website? So for the mouse event, including a click, so we trigger when the element like the click, so most of them will be the button, or like do with a double click, so double click, and also with a mouse over. So if you remember we talked about the CSS6, we detecting, okay, when the mouse like edge over, so how can we know? So we check out if the mouse pointer move over certain element. So we change the color. So it's one of the event we're going to detect. And then the mouse out. So we trigger if the mouse pointer like leave on an element. So when we move in, move out. So here's the event. And then another type of interaction is called a keyboard event. So we can detect where's the trigger the key down. So when the keyboard is pressed, okay, and then when the thumbs up, so the key up will trigger if the key released it or the key press. So actually, just like depreciate in the favor of the key down and the key up. So just combine. So when the key is pressed, suppose when you press it, for example, okay. And another one is called the form event. So you will see, or like if I give you the example, the form, so that one is the form event. So let's say we click on the submit. So we will have a function to like post it to our Happy.js server. So this one is the form event or the change. So if the value of the input change, then what will you do? Sometimes when you try to, if we have an input field, and then when you try to type something new, we remove all those previous items. Then it can be detected on the change, or like when on the change, then you need to save a new value. Then how can you change it? Or like when you're working together, if the user, let's say if you try to implement input form, most of the time you will realize when we click the enter button, or you can hit enter, that means you need to also implement a function to detecting, okay, if there's a key down and up, then you will call the function to the, let's say, login function, and then send the data to the server, or you are going to validate the value. So all this you need to handle. And then one more is the browser event. So they are including called the load. So we'll trigger if that page like or image is loaded, and then we have resize. So if we like change the browser size, so based on those, then we are able to. Of course, when you use the framework and those that dynamic, if you remember CSS, the same is the add media, change the width, then we can change the layout. So those are working together. Or scroll. So scroll down. If you see some website, when you scroll down, we have some sticky like floating bar over there. We will stay at a certain location. So when we scroll down and something's still over there, or we have the menu always sticking on the top, and how can it work? So it's go to scroll. Okay. And then you need to think about will your website support for the tablet or mobile phone, those cell phone? Okay, so if you are able to support those like touch enabled devices, so we have called a touch start. So it's pretty similar. So when the finger touch on it, we have the finger move. So when the finger move on it, then we need to detect in the screen and then touch end. So when we finish it, so there's one more. But this one maybe for your implementation, you don't have to really consider for the mobile working on the website. They're working on the mobile, but mainly on the desktop. But if you want to create certain function supporting for the touch, then yes, you can implement this one. Okay, so far we have different types of event being occurred. Okay, then when the event occur, it happened, then we need to have a handling. How can we handle it? We always have an event listener. Those event listener is a function we will wait for the specific event to occur on a specific element. Then we will call the servant function to take in. Okay, so right here, if we are creating the event listener for a button, if a button, and then I will get the element by the ID. So I say, okay, I have a button, and this button, I will add an event listener called click. And then when I click, I will call the function. So call the alert button was click. Okay. And it's a part of it. And then if you want to remove it, then you can just using the function, or sometimes if you want to, you can remove the button listener by using remove it. So you can use the working as a pair, add or remove. But most of the time, maybe you will using the add only because you are not going to remove the event listener. But just in case, if you want to, then you can use the remove event listener. And after you know what's the time and then how can we handle it, the next one is about the object of the event. So when the event occurs, so an event object is created. So it contains some useful information about that event, and then you can access it in your event handler. So when you click on the button, you can add the event listener, right? So we have pass the function, and then we will pass the event. So this one will be the object. The passing, you can log it, and then you can also check one of the value element inside is the called a target. So we trigger the event. So there's an element. If you want to test, like sometimes if you want to validate, okay, if I click on this button, I want to perform certain action like for those events. So you will perform several steps, statements like need to execute that. You can try to do the console log and check, okay, am I click on this button correctly? Do I receive the data? Or sometimes when you need to like click the button update, then you can try to create a event listener to list all the contents of the field, then you can do it. And then move on, we have the event delegation. So this is a technique like where you attach a single event listener to a parent element instead of the multiple listener on a child elements. So this one is more efficient, especially you are trying to create some dynamic like some element, especially because we are using the react and then to generate. Sometimes if you remember, we're using the mapping function, create a list, and if you're using a list and let's say, okay, if in my database, I save a list like all the weeks. Okay. And I generate all these like week button right here. So if we want to create, we not like create the listener one by one, but how can we create the parent one and then we just pass the parameter like this, and then we can like once we can on this button we list all the items inside. Then how can we do that? Let's say we have the list document get element by the ID. So it's one of the function we can use pretty a lot like to get the our element. So if you have a question, how can we create the element? I didn't really maybe show the actual code, but when I talk about the class, we can define using class or ID in your all the element or your tag. Then that's why we need to doing like create the ID or class. Then we can get the element, and then using the ID and then constant list, and we try to add the event listener for this list, right? So we have a click button, and when we detect the event, we're passing target, what's the tag name? So it's like called the list li. Then I'll let you click on this one, and then what's the test content did you click on? So here's the delegate. So we are passing it and match it. So you may using a switch function if condition. That's what we're going to cover later too. And all these, then you can just like create one event listener, but able to handle all the different types. So if I have the list and match it, what's the list name? So you can create the tag. If you look at the source code right here, if you do so small, let's say I have a test, and then we have a class icon container. Online, let me see if I get that. Okay, there's a one small unit navigation item. They have a called a data object ID, so they would define. So this ID also helping your source code to detect. So it's one of the method. And then based on the ID, you're able to obtain. So we have so many object ID right here. So this is another way to get the ID. And you see all the list right here. Then I can create a function like event listener to match it with the ID. And another right here, I'm talking using the ID, then you can declare in this method. Okay, then we move on to the form validation, like just like is what I gave you. And if you need to implement your login form, right here, if I have a form, I give the form have an ID for my form, and then even for the test input, I give the ID, and I have a button called submit. And it comes together with the script. This one is more like HTML based. But if you need to implement your JS, then you need to change a little bit. Okay, so I try to get the element of the form, and then I add the event listener right here, and then click on the submit. So I have a function. I will get the element by ID. So you see this element by ID, I will get a name. Then I will save the name. I match it. Okay, we will try to validate or make sure the user just input some content, or you can check the value, or sometimes you can check the length, or you can compare if the user modify the value, you can update it. So based on your purpose of this function, then you can have different type of checking. Sometimes if you want to update the value, then you can just check, okay, does the input value match the one I save? Yes, I'm not updated. No, then I will update the my local storage, and then update the value I save for the form. If you need to do some calculation, go through some like mathematics, then also you can perform right here and save it. Okay. And this one event.prevent default, we use like pretty common, is like we try to prevent the submission, the form submission, is that when we click on it. And after we complete the validation, then we can have a function called post, then we can take it, doing like that. If you want to prevent the submission, then you can add this one. So remember. And then validation again right here. Okay. So right here will be, I think you pretty using a lot about the event. Then we will talking to more like about the string and numbers. So you will handle pretty a lot. So it will be a sequence of character. We will represent the text, and then strings are mutable, and then they cannot change once they create. Here's a concept for Node.js, or if you learn Python. More likely, all those variable using let their object instead of a data type, so we cannot change it. So once even you say using let a equals to 10, and then you set that a equals to b, actually we're pointing to a new object. It's not overwriting the original value. Okay, it's the same idea. And right here, also we have a different type of code. So we have the single quotes. So you can see right here, and double quotes, or the one that temperature. So right here. So this one will be right next to the number 1 on the left, 1 on the bottom, so on the button. So this one can handle like multi-line or for passing the parameters. But one thing, just be careful, because JavaScript is supporting like single quote or double quote. So if you're putting all your text like in single quote, yes, you can make it consistent using a single quote. But if you make it by mistake using double quote, you're still allowed to do that. So you are still fine. But if you need to passing a message like using single quote and double quote, or sometimes if you look at your SQL query or NoSQL passing those string, then you need to mix the single quote. So if you are okay, see, I'm working on something. Okay, so if you setting a string 1, string like this, and then maybe using a double quote, and then you can pass in db dot maybe my collection dot find one like this. And then if you need to pass the text inside a string, then you need to combine with the double quote. So if you have two different codes, then remember, just like use the single quote as the outer one, and then inner one using the double quote. It's a slightly difference. Or you can pass the color temperature, so you can pass it, and then with the parameter. Okay, it's still okay. Okay, and one thing you will check validate if you want to check the user, like do they input something, check the value, and then get the length. So you can use the function length dot length to this is a property return the number of character in the string. So once you declare the string and then you do the console log, then dot length, then you can return it. If you need to iterate with the character 1 by 1, also you can use the for loop. Then you can get the length using the your string length. Also, you handle the same. Okay. And for the strings, we have different type of methods we can handle it. Sometimes we need to change it to a lowercase for matching. If you have certain content, they are not case sensitive, then you just like change to or lowercase. Then you can just like dot lowercase. Or if you need to change them like to present, no matter maybe some user will input a text field or a username, but you will show the username in somewhere, but in uppercase, then you can use the function dot to uppercase to convert to it. And if you want to trim, okay, remove certain character, special character in the string, so you can use it. Let's say if you have the trim and then pass it, so you'll remove those like space in the front and then end. So right here, both end of the string. So you can try to call the function you need to handle. Of course, we have more method to deal with the string. So we can like try to looking and match, index it, replace it, everything's okay. So if you need to achieve the same goal using, we do have different method, but you can choose the one with better result or like faster, save the time, more efficient. Okay. And then the next one is about index of. If you need to handle the string, like interact with the string, so we can return it the first occurrence of your string. Otherwise, if not found, we'll return negative one. But if we able to find it, then we return the index. If you passing the like complete a word, we can still match it. So we start, you can see able to check right here. So we return 7. So you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8. And then because the index, if you remember the index of the string and the array, we always like begin from 0. So right here will be 7 matched. Okay. So here got the index of. And next one, if we need to search if the string contains certain values specific substring, then it returns true or false. So if you want to check, okay, if the username includes certain things, or like input field, if you want to prevent they inject certain code, or like with the like script, if username, suppose you are not taking certain code, the script or special character, then you can try to check. If they include something, then you can pass it or give an alert to the user. Then the function is called the includes. And then you can pass the string. You can pass one character, a letter, or a complete word, then or substring. So we call it as a substring. So it will return a value true or false. Okay. And also we do have other functions like saying start with and checking if the string start with a specific string or ends with, also is another one. Of course, you can use the string or like using the loop, like checking, it's the same, but this one is just the function help you to validate. Okay, is it start with hello or end with the exclamation mark, full stop, or like word like this? Then if it's true, then you perform certain action. Okay, so it's one of the function you can use. Okay, and I believe this one you may use pretty a lot or see a lot. It's called replace. So it's called a string replacement. So we will replace the first corner of the substring with the new substring. So when we try to original string called hello world, and then if I replace the hello world to JavaScript, then we will change to like hello JavaScript like this. Okay. And if you're asking, because you will see, we will say the first one. Then if I have multiple, how can you do? You may be asked a question. Okay. Then if you have multiple, one of concept is like getting a substring, like then is the class split, or we call it substring, then how can you get it? Okay. And also for the ES6, actually we have one more. We using the one we call a regular expression. So we're passing the regular expression. So let's say if we have the banana and then you need to replace all the A to O, we're using 2 slash to represent for the regular expression right here. G is global, so all of them. If you need to extract certain content, also you can use it. We do have some regular expression. I think for when we talk about the programming, you need to handle lots of contents. So if let's say I have content like this, let me see, copy and paste. Okay. If I need to searching for certain content, you see 2 slash right here. And for the character, you will see I have some like reference. We can use the like with the ABC or like with the Angel A to Z, and also some elements slash s. If I want to find the content, if they start with a banana, you can say it's banana. So you see it's gonna match. But if I want to match something with the A, so right here it comes up with the group and then with metric group. But if you want to check in something like with the quotation, okay, if you want to doing in this one, you got the error, right? So you need to maybe something you need to show the quotation, special character, and passing. Let's say I want to get anything inside the quotation like this. Okay. Or this one with the bracket is like I want to extract the the value. So this one will be like with a different matching group, 1, and then match 2, and then 3. So it will return the values. So it will getting as array. But later, if you need to use it, you can study by yourself first. But later, I will, if I do have enough time, I try to cover more for like exercise. And if you just want to check the content, if match, then you just return the value. Okay, this one is just like matching. Okay, we have the string like this, but with the bracket, then we can return the group and extract the information. And if you need to validate the email, or like if in the message text field you want to extract certain content through the like input field, then you can use the regular expression. And you can, based on this one, if you want to replace it, then you can use it. Okay, so it's called the space. And also we have the called the question mark. It's like with the last match. And also we have the plus sign. You can see the plus sign right here. That means at least one or more, or like less, or star s, so it's okay. That means it represents like 0 or more. Okay, but this one is not the main focus for this part. But when we talk about string and then regular expression, that's what you need to know. And the next is the splitting and joining. Okay, and when we need to have a string like this, when you want to split it, then we can like break down as the different parts, so it will become an array. Okay, maybe sometimes you do have a string message, and then you need to break down, then you can use split. Okay, and it will become a array. So right here you can see the fruit right here. Then will become an array, so you can use the for loop. And also you can split it using the string too, either. And for join function, if you have an array and then you want to like put them together, become a new string, then you can use a specific like separator too. So you can like push dot joins, then you can add. If you want to put a comma, then you can put a comma back. Okay, you can do it in this way. And here, just like repeat that temperature, it's important for the string, and we use pretty regular, so we can embed the expression inside the bracket right here instead of code. And then like we can handle like multi-lines like this, 1 or 2 lines, right? And then for the interpolation, we're passing this we need to use. So here's a recap of it, so you can refer it. And one more is that we can take the template allows to fix the template with the function. So right here, if I have a function and tag and then some strings, if you remember this one, we have the expression like this one, and then we passing the value, we passing array. So we have a log, and then passing a value, return it of our own command. So we have string of the first item, and then pass the value 0 like this. And here's the example. And then we have the tag that, and then, okay. So far we go through about some basic elements of a string. Okay. If you go to W3 School or some online resources, you will see more functions you can use for string or handle string. Just remember, we do have some function you can use for replacing, and you can just like refer to those online resources. And then next one is about numbers. I believe you maybe need to handle. So it can be number can be presented floating point of values. Also, they can be both like integer or decimals. So it really depends on need to check it. And sometimes when you need to declare some numbers really huge, big, so we have the called a global property. For numbers dot max value, so it's the largest positive Banach value, and then mini value. And also we have the negative infinity, and then also positive infinity, also not, so it's not a number. So if you want to match, like if you want to check if the user input, you need to let the user input some number, like a phone number or date, maybe year, month. But if you want to check, or sometimes if you need to compare if the value is bigger than this, or like get a minimum value, get a maximum value, then you can try to save the default value, right? In the beginning, you need to have a first with the initial, right, with a default value first. Then you can try to set, okay, if I want to get the maximum number, you will try to always save the number in a minimum value. Okay. Or like if I want to get the what's the minimum value, then I will initialize with the maximum value in the beginning. Then I can update the checking the value using the compare the number the max, right? So right here, so you can log and check. So these are all the global value. And for the number literals right here, we have like decimal numbers, hex, binary, and article. So right here you will see O10 is represent hexadecimal. You see COB right here is representing binary, or the article is right here, octal. So will be octal will be 0 and then with the O. And then we have different type of number constructor we can use. If we are using a number and then with the coding, so if this is a string, we can able to convert the string to a number. Okay, you can save it, or we can create a number object, but not recommend doing this way. But you just need to know we can do it in this method. This one. And once we have this, it's pretty similar to the numbers. We like the string, we have a methods, right? Different type of methods. Pretty common methods we have like to validate it. Is this an integer? So we're checking. So we pass the value and say, okay, it's true. So is this not a number? Then so if we pass it, okay, it's not a number. Okay, it's a final number, and then yes, true. Then these are all the functions. And sometimes if you need to fix, like want to presenting the numbers in certain decimal, like fixed point of notation, like it's a pi, like 3.14159, then I want to change to decimal numbers, then you can to fix and then pass to, so it will become a 2.14. Okay. Sometimes if you need to round up, round down, you need to use, okay. And also at the precision, and then we have a specific length. So if we divide by 3, they were showing 3, 4, 5, like this. Okay. Also, we have summary to exponential. So we return a string representing the number in exponential notation. So to exponent f2, like this, and we were showing in this one. So 3.14 exponential is power to 0. So because you already able to show all the value like this, okay. And another one is once you need to handle for a really large number, we call a big in. Sometimes if you have a pop out or have an alert or message showing is an error, your integer is not big enough. Really depends on the project or the program you're writing. But one of the we use the big ins, the built-in object can represent the whole number that larger than 2 power than 53 minus 1. You know, because it's start from 0. So it's the largest safe integer in the JS. Okay, so you can use. When you put it with the long integer, then you need to define the big in. Okay, then we are able to use it. And also we can use the called n suffix to define is the big in. So right here 1, 2, 3, and then n with the n. So either way is okay. And we have the big in property, like, and also have similar methods is pretty similar. So we can use with most arithmetic operators like plus add, and also, but they cannot mix with the regular numbers. Just be careful. So if you get the big in, then you cannot adding with the regular numbers together. So when we convert the next we convert the big in to the number, just number and pass it, or convert the number to the big in. Okay, but here's one thing you need to be careful, because for the big in and the number, because The begin is like with the longer number. So when you change a record to a regular number, then we will lose certain digit of it. So it's really possible. So just be careful when you have a larger than it. And it's the same, we say the operation like addition, subtraction, multiplication, like adding, division, you can use both of it. So for the right here, we can say it's but make sure the operation, we cannot mix them. So even the first one, let's say we have a and with a long is begin, we're putting n in the begin. Then you cannot mix it, you cannot put two. Then when you try to submit and execute, you can do a testing if you, what's the message comes out if you add things together. So you need to put like 2n, so let the system know we are handling to begin value. So you can do like a plus 2 and save it to sum like this. Okay. And also we have different type of limitation and considerations. So you can like mix types, but you cannot directly mix the begin number in expression. But so like this, like if a number begin 10, then you will throw the error. Okay. Then you need to change it, convert it to the begin. Okay. So far will be these two, and will be like basic will be you use a lot. And the next one, maybe for the website, you will handle maybe for the time user input. So we will try to cover the date in the JavaScript. So for the dates in JavaScript, representing day and time, sometimes we use it for manipulation or like calculation. So we use pretty often. We always try to create the date using a date constructor. So we create the now time, we got new and date, so we get the current time. Okay, these are object. And after we create the date object, we can try to also with the really specific time passing in the parameter specific. Okay, because for the this one date is like get a current, but if you know I want to create the date format with specific time, then you can pass it for the year, and then we can get a month, and then suppose this one should be November or like 11. Okay, and then the date, and then the time 15, 30, and 0. Okay, so when I copy, is a mistake. And then 0, and then for the we have the date string. So we have the date from the string, so we can pass it in this format. Sometimes if you look at the timestamp or they presenting in this format, then we can read it. And after we able to read it, so this one we have a certain standard. It's called the ISO like 8601 format. So the year, month, date, and then we come out with the T. So we have the 2-digit hour, minute, second, and that with the song number. And of course, we can use that to the local data string and passing some format to change it in different way. And also we can extract certain components from the date. And after you create, then you can use the function called like get full years, 4-digit years, get month. So we return a month. So, but the month, we be careful is the start from digit like 0 to 11. Okay, so you need to change it. So if you get 11, then you need to pass 1 to show, okay, it's in December, and also the date. So it's from 1 to 31, and then the get date. So it will be the date of the week. So it's 0 to 6. So here's the format just like this. And for the dates, and we get it, so we have the dates, get full years, then we return years, get month, get date, and get the date. So it will be Friday. So here will be duplicate. This one with the date will be the called the 1 to 31. Okay, like this. Then you need to based on the date. If I remember just this one we presenting 0 will be Sunday, and then 5 will be Friday, and then 6 will be Saturday. So this one will be like this. And we have you can set the method using the set methods to update the dates format. So we have the year, and then set full year, set month, set date, set hour, set minute, set second. So all this you are allowed to do that and then pass the value. Okay, and you are welcome to like to test all these things. And then next one, you can like set in dates like through the other components. Let's say the future, we create a new date and then set the new year, new month, and then the new date. Okay, and then when you show, it will output as a format like this. Okay. And sometimes when you need to calculate the login time and then age or like anything, so all of them average subtracted by adjust the millisecond. So when we get the current time, the get time, and then we need to like adding one more day. So you need to start with the millisecond times 1000, and then 60, and then minutes, and then hour, 24 hours. Then you add one day. So it will be tomorrow's day. Then this point, remember. We sometimes if you look at example, why we always time 1000 behind, because we always start adjusting in the milliseconds. Okay. And also we'll get the time in milliseconds. We're using get time. So their value is in the milliseconds. So we always like create the called the current timestamp. Okay, get time is the timestamp is the huge number, and based on the timestamp also we can get the value. Next, you will see the function. We talk about the two local date string. So this one we can define what's the format of your date. Sometimes you want to show it in this way. So like in that way, or so you can show it as a year, and then we say numeric, and then month is a long, or something is a short, or like if you're showing long in this way, or like we have the string. And we have the, let's say we have the now time, and then we pass a function to this one, and then we will check the locale and pass the certain option. Then we will, this option is like how you define, and then we'll define the year, is the numeric, and then the long format, and then with the numeric here. And then we follow the format, the locale is using the US locale, and then we can do it, show in this format. Okay. And also we have like called the ISO string. So if you have a time to IO string, then you can return it in this format. So if you say that we follow this date, and then also we do have the time zone. Maybe like based on the time zone, you need to change. Like if I get the UTC time, we always like getting this one. Then you can change it by adding those like milliseconds. You can handle this one. But if you want to get a UTC, just like get UTC full year or UTC month, then you should able to get the time. And also for the time zone, we talk about the time zone, we need to set the offset, right? So also we can use the local string. So with the option to define the specific time. So if we're passing the time zone, let's say the American New York time, so we can follow the format and then pass this option, then also we are able to get it. Okay. Just remember, just be careful we using the zero base. Sometimes like when I look at it, sometimes I forgot to, but just remember for the month, we always using zero index. January start from 0, December is 11. So once you show the digit, you need to apply +1 to change it. And then most of the time we need to be careful is the date string format. So most of the time we using the ISO format to avoid the problem. Okay. So for today we'll cover all these three main types we are using for the JS, like you will use for your web development. So we can have string, numbers, and date. And because when you need to save your database or you need to handle it, calculate the time, and all this you need to use. Do you have any question or because for this class too, okay, I caused it by mistake, and okay, I need to go back right here. Okay. For the last one, so because I know you may be busy, and I will give you the last assignment later, and just like for you to do, I will tell you on Thursday. So I'll publish this one, and suppose I guess you should working on your good project, like you already design your topic, what you want to do, and then maybe you planning how can you implement your front end. And because as a first part one, so you have some time, and then you should able to, like after you finish, then you need to think about your front end and API integrate, and then also your MongoDB. Okay, and hopefully all the source code I gave you, you should able to build have a backbone or like the fundamental part of your website, and then you can based on those source code and then create your own website. Okay. Do you have any question? If no, I can give sometimes, like if you want to talk to your group or ask any question about the project, then you can ask. If no, it'll be that's it for today's class. Okay, maybe I stop the sharing. I'll see. If no question, then I will end the meeting right now.